Are we live? Yes, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Just My Opinion podcast. We got a jam-packed show today, folks. We're going to be talking about Baker Mayfield, his future, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about Kwame Brown and his situation. Apparently, some content providers who were supposed to be his bud, his friends, had a little falling out and a little back and forth. So we're going to get into that as well. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is Baker Mayfield. Now, it's been living under a rock. Allow your boy to explain. Apparently, Baker Mayfield is, as of right now, as far as playing for the Cleveland Browns, he's going to be a backup because the Cleveland Browns got Deshaun Watson for like $230 million. All of it is fully guaranteed. So I expect Deshaun Watson is going to be the new leader, the quarterback, the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, I have talked about this last week about the destinations Deshaun Watson can probably go. And a lot of people were leading towards the New Orleans Saints. And I understand why people thought the New Orleans Saints were going to be able to get Deshaun Watson because of, they do have weapons over there. And they have a tradition of winning. So I can understand why a lot of football aficionados would pick the New Orleans Saints. Me personally, I thought he was going to go to the Atlanta Falcons. And the reason why I felt like he was going to the Atlanta Falcons is very simple. He's from there. It's heavily influenced by the African American community. I know there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say, well, what does that has anything to do with football and business? And trust me, it's if you're not African American, it speaks in volume. So he's going to get the full support of that city tenfold. And I told you guys he was going to be a bigger sensation than Michael Vick, and Atlanta hasn't had an impact like that since Dominique Wilkins, Deion Sanders. The last mega superstar that Atlanta had in that city was Michael Vick, of course. And we all know about what transpired between Michael Vick and Atlanta Falcons. But anywho, I thought he was going to go there, even though it didn't make the best football sense and it wasn't the best team, didn't have a lot of weapons around him. But like I said, essentially, he'll be leaving the Texans and going to the Falcons, and it's pretty much the same team. Not enough weapons. The commitment of winning is not high on the bulletin board, but it's somewhere there. And it will take a while for him to turn either of those ball clubs around. Obviously, the Cleveland Browns signed Deshaun Watson because they were the only team in the running that was going to guarantee his contract fully, despite the accusations of 21 women accusing him of sexual assault. Even though he was cleared in the criminal matter, still nothing hasn't been resonated as far as the civil matter. And you don't have to have a conviction, a criminal conviction, to prosecute him in a civil suit. Okay, if go look at the O.J. Simpson case, he was found not guilty in the criminal case, but he was found liable and guilty in the civil case. And that's where a lot of these accusers are going to try him in court. Now, me personally, I don't want to go too far back. I told you guys he should have gotten in front of this. If it meant that to take a buyout, to take some type of exit strategy buyout away from these accusers, he should have been leaning more towards that. I do understand that at that particular time and at that particular moment, no one knew it was going to be 21 women. We just knew it was a handful of women. And I felt like Deshaun Watson should have, even if you're innocent, you shouldn't try to push this because it could jeopardize your football career. And when you talk about a football career, it's a very short career. Not a lot of players make it, are still playing in football in their mid-30s. There have been exceptions to the rule, but it hasn't been that many. And me personally, I thought he was going to at least take that position. But nevertheless, he chose the position he wanted to choose. And he's still, fighting for his name in a civil matter. Okay? So, if you look at what the Cleveland Browns ultimately did, they guaranteed his contract all 5 years. He's going to get that money regardless if he plays, if he gets injured, if he gets suspended from the league, if he has a career injury. The Cleveland Browns have guaranteed that contract fully. Now, there are probably parameters in the contract where they can get, if he faces a career injury, there's parameters in that contract where it wouldn't hurt them in the salary cap. It'll still hurt them, but they'll still be able to do something. And they gave up a lot of draft picks, a lot of first-round draft picks, a lot of those draft. Now, I know a lot of people are saying F them picks. The owner for the Rams had a T-shirt saying F them picks. And now everybody is running and saying that phrase on social media. Even Shannon Sharp has mentioned it. F those picks. Yeah, they're, F those picks now, but what about next year? What about the year before that? Because you can never predict the future, and you really don't know, even though you got your best foot forward as far as your signings and things of that nature, you just don't know what's going to happen in the future. So it's good to have something to fall back on. The Cleveland Browns really don't have anything to fall back on if this blows up in their face, if he is suspended for another year. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why the Cleveland Browns have been, Jameis Winston. I don't know why I said his name. Baker Mayfield is requesting a trade to the Indianapolis Colts. He's requesting a trade regardless, and the Cleveland Browns saying no, not at this moment, because they want to see the other shoe drop as far as the civil suit, as far as if Deshaun Watson is going to face any more suspensions, if he's going to get any suspensions from the league. There have been several communities and several activists in Cleveland and also outside of Cleveland is protesting the fact of this recent transaction of him being traded to the Cleveland Browns. So you got that blowback. So there's a lot of parameters that are not set in stone for the Cleveland Browns, and they just want to keep their options. As of right now, they're going to hold on to Baker Mayfield until, the other shoe drop on these other parameters I just mentioned. They're still going to trade Baker Mayfield, and I felt like the trade itself was a great trade. If you can, I consider that trade an upgrade. Despite how talented we feel about Baker Mayfield, at the end of the day, they upgraded. They got a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Anybody with a brain cell of 2 dead flies would pick Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield, even with all the baggage Deshaun Watson has. Okay, that makes a better football decision than just keeping to Baker Mayfield. Let's just be fair about this, okay? But at the same time, I felt like the owner was being a little petty when he said we needed an adult, we need a grown-up as our leader. And yes, Baker Mayfield has made mistakes. Yes, Baker Mayfield has said and did a lot of things. Yes, Baker Mayfield hasn't been much of a grown-up, much of an adult. Okay, I can get all of what you're saying, but for you to say that and for you to trade and get a quarterback that he too hasn't made the best decisions off the field, and he too, you can sit up there and say, was he being an adult? Was he being a responsible adult? And I'm talking about Deshaun Watson. So that's the only critique I have for the owner. But other than that, look, anybody would take Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield. Even the hardest core fan of Baker Mayfield would take Deshaun Watson. Now, the future of Baker Mayfield. Does he even have a future? I've heard Shannon Sharp make the excuse and make the assumption that, if Baker Mayfield is all that in a bag of chips, you will have 31 teams in line for Baker Mayfield. And for that, I say this. You can make that argument for Russell Wilson. You can make that argument for Aaron Rodgers. But if your quarterback is set in stone and you're not sure, and particularly you're not sure about the parameters of a quarterback, of those quarterbacks, are you going to be able to, does Aaron Rodgers wants to be here? Does Aaron Rodgers have a list of teams and maybe you're not on that list? Are you going to gamble and roll the dice on what you already have on someone that may not be interested in your team in the first place? There's a lot of parameters Shannon Sharp and others fail to mention or even bring up. I still feel like there are a handful of teams that will take Baker Mayfield. The Giants would take Baker Mayfield. The Jets would take Baker Mayfield. The Carolina Panthers, considering the circumstances, if they can get Baker Mayfield and don't have to give up too much for him, they would take Baker Mayfield. The Seahawks, despite of them, like it's a garage sale, getting rid of all their older players and just hitting the restart button, they can still kick the tires around of a possible Baker Mayfield. There are teams out there. The Detroit Lions would take Baker Mayfield. There are teams. Let's quit throwing a narrative that no one wants Baker Mayfield. Anyone that's doing that is doing one or two things. They're either trolling or really don't understand how this works. And how this works is, in order to complete a trade, you have to have value and interest of that individual. But if you already signed your quarterback, now teams are looking at it going like, whoa, wait a minute. We don't have to give up 2 number ones or 3 number ones for Baker Mayfield, because we obviously know that if you're going to have to meet our demands in a trade, we don't have to give up too many draft picks for a Baker Mayfield. We can literally get Baker Mayfield on the cheap. Baker Mayfield is valuable, Baker Mayfield is important, but we don't have to give up the sun, moon, and the stars, the universe, and the earth for Baker Mayfield, because we already know that you already have your quarterback. Why should we give up everything for Baker Mayfield when you're going to give him to us? You have no desire for Baker Mayfield. You really don't even want you really don't want him in the organization. The only reason why you're holding on to Baker Mayfield is because of the other parameters beside from Deshaun Watson. But once those things are concrete and ironed out, you're 88 out the gate away from Baker Mayfield. You don't want Baker Mayfield. So why am I going to give you up? Why am I going to give you everything you want when I know that I can get him on the cheap? And I also know he's got 1 year remaining, meaning he become a free agent. So why I'm going to give you all of these pieces when he can walk out at the end of the year? When I can wait until you release him and I can get him for whatever price and I can sign him to whatever contract. Now I'm bidding with other teams that are in the running as far as signing Baker Mayfield. There you have it. So this Baker Mayfield saga is only going to okay. This Baker Mayfield signing, I just got something from Google about Skip Bayless and Kevin Love and LeBron James, and I saw apologies. I don't know what that means, but I'll read it a little bit later. But this Baker thing is not X in stone, folks, and it evolves as the day go on, as the weeks go on. I feel like there's going to be a resolution to it as soon as they get somewhat concrete and stone or with Deshaun Watson and his legal woes. So let me jump on Kwame Brown. The beef with Kwame Brown, Mr. Skinny TV. And I forgot the other guy's name. I think it's Just Talk. I don't know. But apparently, I guess Kwame Brown and Mr. Skinny TV done a live stream a couple of weeks back. And something was said. If you listen to what Mr. Skinny said, and if you listen to what Kwame Brown said, Mr. Skinny took what he said in the live stream very personal, and I felt like Mr. Skinny overreacted a little bit, and he showed his cards on what he truly thought about Kwame Brown, because he thought Kwame Brown was talking about his parents. So after that incident, it was less than 24 hours after that incident, he's on a live stream with Tommy Sotomayor, and Tommy Sotomayor and Kwame Brown don't see things eye to eye. They really don't like each other. But Mrs. Skinny was a pro supporter of Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown is one of the reasons why people even know Mr. Skinny TV. Kwame Brown has went on his live streams. Mrs. Skinny, he even allowed Mrs. Skinny to come to his home, and I mean, they were supposed to be good friends, and they considered themselves, well, Mr. Skinny considered himself family to Kwame Brown. That's he considered Kwame Brown his cousin, his cuz of a busty bust. Would take up for Kwame Brown. And then here comes the fallout. And after the fallout, words were exchanged. Then after the fallout, people started to pick sides, and it wasn't even 24 hours, and Miss Skinny's already on Tommy Solemeyer's live stream, which to me, I feel like there were communication even before this incident. I think Mrs. Skinny was, now I don't, and this is all allegedly, I don't know this for a fact, but for you to be on the competitor's live stream in less than 24 hours, there had to have been some type of parameters and communication in place before that incident with Kwame Brown, where you was already talking to him anyway. You was ready to bolt away from Kwame Brown. And now, Miss Skinny has made live streams and videos talking about Kwame Brown, his personal decisions and things of that nature, and Kwame Brown has done some live streams defending that and attacking Mr. Skinny as well. And the result and the fallout from this is, I look at it as there's three type of people that will tell you the real truth about themselves, are children, drunks, and mad people. Boy, when you mad at somebody, that truth spills out real fast, real quick. You're no longer biting your tongue. You're no longer making excuses on how you really feel about somebody. You're no longer playing the game. And I remember, I feel like it was 6 or 7 months ago, maybe it was a year ago. This situation reminds me of the Joe Budden fallout with Rory and Mal. And Rory and Mal talked about ethics and principles and morals and friendship and family, being the boss, contracts, things of that nature. It was a gumbo mixture of a lot of things that they were thinking about, but never spoken to Joe about until the final straw, or until they got fired. Now they're hurt and angry and mad. I shouldn't say hurt, but angry and mad. And they're saying, well, hell, there's no need to bite my tongue. Let me spill the tea out. Let me tell you my side of the story. And there's three sides to a truth, but they're all the truths. And I remember doing a video and I was explaining to people, and there was some people in the comment section that didn't understand where I was coming from. And I made the bold comment of, you can't mix business with family, just like you can't mix business with pleasure. Because I'm not saying I'm not saying it, you shouldn't do it, but what I am saying is it's difficult to execute doing business with your family or doing business with your friends, because 9 times out of 10 you have fallouts like this. I think I think there should be an arm length with your family and with your friends. Your friends shouldn't use you as a crutch, and vice versa. Sure, you should support your friends and family. Sure, you should take up for your friends and family. But when you're exhausting resources, time, money, and emotion, when you are putting those things in as interest to whatever or whoever, and you don't see the results, you don't see that individual doing the same for you. You may think that person is not doing the same for you or putting you in a better position or a better spot. And that's when the jealousy comes in. That's when the envy come in. I tell people you should not mix business with pleasure, and you should not mix family with business. It's like oil and water. I'm not saying it cannot be done, but it's very difficult to execute. But if you put me up against the wall, say yay or nay, can you mix business with pleasure? Can you do business with family? Yay or nay. I'm going to say, no, you can't. Way too many parameters. Way too many of tiptoeing and stepping through a field full of landmines, because you just don't know which one you're going to step on, and that's a wrap. I think the real reason why this did not work out is sometimes your friends and family can be a leech to you. They can be a leech to you. They can. They can definitely be a leech to you, or the appearance of a leech to you. I think there's a common denominator in how you pick people around you affects how you are successful in life. If you pick people around you that maybe not have the best morals, the best principles, the best ethics, the best have a successful portfolio, if you pick people that need you as a crutch, need you to boost them up, the end game for you is not going to be the same end game as someone picking people around them that's going to make them better. I also think that in the Black community, in the African American community, and I'm African American, we have a lot of stories and examples that happen this way. I'm not saying 100%. I'm not saying 90%. I'm not even going to say 70%. But there's a large percentage of stories like this affecting us. And we just got to do better. Now, there are people that Kwame Brown picked that benefited him. But there were people that he also picked that had a different agenda, or the principles did not match or in line with what his principles and morals were. And that's pretty much what happened. Kwame is going to learn from this mistake, and he's just only going to get better. You know, he did a live stream a couple of days ago, and he had Charleston White and Hassan Campbell, and that's doing crazy views on YouTube. That's getting crazy notoriety. When you look at the people, and they call this trimming the fat. When you look at the people that are no longer around Kwame Brown, and you look at what they're doing, it's not the same no more. It's not the same energy no more. And maybe not a week from now, or a month from now, 3 months from now, maybe not 6 months from now. You know, the smarter people in the room would get this sooner. But people that are in denial or feel like they're right, it's going to take a little longer. And they're going to figure out sooner rather than later, damn, I blew a golden opportunity. And look where I'm at now. So that's all I got for today's episode. I will talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow. And be safe out there. I hope you enjoy your Wednesday. I was supposed to have done this Tuesday. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.